Okay, exciting times for me, as I've mentioned before in this type of video. Anytime I get a box from, I order my postcards from Vistaprint, I always get excited about seeing what has come in and what things look like. And this is a gigantic box here, full of idea cards that get sent out with all the orders. If you ordered from us before, or one of our distributors and they've sent these to you, you know what I'm talking about. But a lot of these idea cards are reorders, but I did order a couple new ones, so I'm kind of excited to see what came in and what they look like. A lot of these scenes are kind of on the website in the gallery, so if you don't get one of these, you can always see them online. But this is a small version of an 8.5 by 11 scene using, I was going to say 3 different waterfalls, okay, in the tree trunks and tree trunk trios here. This one featured a lot of the splatter painting kind of technique with the Dr. Martin's bleed-proof white down here in the falls. And I can't wait to do this kind of format of a bunch of waterfalls with kind of this new, or I don't know, it's a different look for me, that kind of more storybook, sketchbook type of application of the waterfalls. So that's one of my next videos that I'll be getting to at some point in time. But I don't know, I really like this scene. I don't do scenes at 8.5 by 11 too often, so I don't know, they're kind of exhausting from not physical standpoint or something like that, but just in terms of the time they take. Although I do enjoy the end results and the different compositional possibilities that a large one would, large format would afford. Okay, this is a scene where I started doing a lot of the color box frost white. This scene was done quite a few years ago, but I called it Wisps, and this is kind of doing an application of the dye-based inks in here. But you can see where that wispy look coming out of the clouds, I did then accomplish that using a cotton swab like this, and I just took pigment ink and I just kind of rolled it like that. And I had the right consistency in this card. See, like right here, how, I don't know, I felt it looked kind of natural like that. And I was just going like this, and everything was coming out. And I was going like that down there, and everything was just flowing. Sometimes I can't get those again. You always get something different, you know, every time when you do that type of freeform applications, which is a good thing in some ways, in that you never know what to expect. You know, you're always kind of getting something new and different. But on the other hand, if you try to replicate it again, it can be kind of weird, you know, because you figured you already did it once. Why isn't it, you know, why aren't you getting that again? Okay, one of my favorite scenes that I did in past years, with the hiker and child here, and I use that pigment ink in the background there, and I always like doing those little gel pen highlights down here. And one of the killer things for me in this one is the shadows being cast by those 2 figures in there. I thought that really kind of finished the scene off really nicely. Okay, I'll just try to go through this quickly. Oh, this one right here, you can see right here, that's a photo stamping by Darcy Bruno in New York. I thought it was a fantastic use of the photograph, and she just stamped right on the top there with the lakeside cabin and the flock in water and the pines and rocks stamp over here. So, I don't know, here, I'll open it up for you so you can see it better. It deserves a clear viewing. This really beautiful piece. Okay. Photo stamping, okay? It's really fun stuff and can be really effective in certain circumstances. Okay, most times people take pictures of just sky. That one was kind of a lake. Okay, this is a great scene here. by a very accomplished stamper in a really great compositional format too, okay? She used one of the nature sets, and look at all this kind of beautiful work happening down here. And this is done by Christine Fitzgerald, okay? Look at those textures down here in the water, and how kind of there's a depth within that water, okay? Fantastic work by a really great artist. Okay, let's see what we have here. This is a reorder. We're kind of getting around to that time period when we're thinking about doing things like holiday cards. So this is a scene using the covered bridge stamp, and I really have it muted. I want it rich, but kind of muted, you know, in terms of the color schemes, but I've used a lot of the Dr. Martin's bleed proof white to splatter on all those little white textures in there, and I used a ton of pigment ink, okay? But I wanted it to go for kind of a muted but rich surface in that scene. Okay, and kind of a single stamp scene right here that I've always liked. Okay. This is by Lizzie Giggs, a really great instructor and store owner. But she did this really nice format here of the maple, the maple, I forgot what this stamp was called. Anyway, I think it's 259F, but look how great it pairs with that quote. And I love the oval format, you know, getting away from the, you know, the 90-degree angled edges can really give a, I don't know, a different look to the scene, to the composition, whatever you want to call it. I ordered a ton of cards this time because when Vistaprint had a 50% off sale, so I always kind of jump on that when it comes out. I still have a bunch of other idea cards as well, but now we have even more. Okay, kind of a night sky type of thing going on here with a couple of the foreground branches, but against a kind of a dark background. It's kind of fun to stamp out imagery in reverse, white on dark, okay? And this is using the Alto Cumulus sky and the flock stamp several times, kind of twirling up into that background. This is a video to video number 40, okay? Alright, let's see here. This is a stamper from who at the time was in South Africa, but is now in Sweden. You can see her great work online. Anna Corinne Evoldsson. Anyways, we've done a bunch of idea cards of hers, but look at this beautiful. There's the covered bridge again. This is the smaller version of it. But look at this format right here. Isn't that fun, breaking out of the rectangular shape and putting it in that format? And look at all those really great colors in here, and paired again with the quote stamp down here. She's a really great photographer too, so this is a really cool thing. It almost like, this almost looks three-dimensional here, doesn't it? But you can see a lot of Anna Corinne's pieces on here, and if you get this card, it has her layersofink.blogspot.com. Check those out too. You know, check out her really great blog. She's like a one-person, to me, I call her like my one-person like publication, you know. She can have her own magazine single-handedly, you know, with all of her repertoire of techniques and expertise and practically everything she tries out. Same stamper. Okay. Single stamp down here. Well, there's two. There's the flock up here, but look at this antique look. Look at this beautiful formatting. And then again with the quote stamp. Alright, these look like all of my reorders. I bet you, I got this other box from Vistaprint, and I think those ones are probably going to be the two new ones. Maybe these came from a different location, or if you upload when it comes from a different one, maybe. Thank goodness for digital printing and online printing these days. It's good to go to your local, retailers and whatnot, but to get this kind of glossy cards, in formats like this, it was hard to do, and I could just order like 100 of them in the past. But winter sky, kind of that lighting coming through here, causing that little shimmering type of look. Little highlights on the trees facing the moon. On this side, it's on the left side of the tree, and on this side of the scene, to the left of the moon, I have the highlights on the right side of the tree. So little tricks of the trade, that I like to do with the white gel pen in this case. And again, here's that kind of light on dark foreground imagery down here. I did it black on, that, but I also put the white on that, so it creates a little bit of depth here in the foreground when it comes to this type of imagery and the darkness that's been achieved. Okay. They package these up really nicely these days. It used to be that it just had this band around it, and sometimes you'd get a box and all the postcards would just be all shifted around. They were all kind of dented up, so they must have got some complaints. Little fireflies within my kind of swamp area. It kind of brought the whole thing to life, I thought, having those little twinkly lights in here. Okay. All right. This thing right here is just my big pack of new flyers for our stamp sets. You don't need to see that. Okay, let me see. This is the one I guess I've been looking for. Oh, there's a bunch of postcards in here. Let me take this out of the box. Let me see what this one is. Oh, can't see it. Alright, let's see what we have here. This might be a reorder as well, because I think I ordered more of my newer... Nope, this is the butterfly. Seeing if anyone's seen any of the recent videos. This is that butterfly one that I did. Reversed out, white on black cardstock. Okay. And I was curious about that. I wanted to see what it would come out with. It's glossy. Maybe I should have done that one on matte. It would have been more in the spirit of the image. But I'm pretty pleased with the colors and tones that they achieved with that printing. It's pretty true to what it was, except this is gold that I put around here. It looks more olive, but they can't print metallic, with metallic inks. So that looks pretty good. Was really curious about that one. And let's see what we have here. Let me just do it. Okay, I think these are all the same here. This is the one I was really curious about. This is my half-page kind of mountain scene with that sun coming out. Yeah, I ordered a few of these ones. They must have get a lot less requests for larger formats. This is what they call an oversized postcard. The original was 5.5 by 8.5. I've reduced it here because it has to fit the format of the postcard, but what I'm looking at here is kind of the subtleties that happened and some of the color that's on here, and it looks pretty true to the original. And what I also want is, how does that detail look down there? And it looks pretty good, so I'm pretty pleased with the printing of this one. This one was the one I was most curious about and really wanted it to come out. All of the postcards, they usually print them pretty good. I'm really happy with the service they provide in terms of the consistency of prints I get from Vistaprint. I don't know if all the companies are using the same printer or whatever, you know, the way they do it, but I don't know, I think that looks pretty decent as far as the look goes, so. All the little details in there held pretty well as well, so. Anyway, fun stuff. These will be going out with orders starting now. We've got a nice big crop of them. These tend to go faster than I think they would, but anyways, people can kind of get a different batch sometimes, unless they order like the same week or something like that. But I'm always trying to kind of mix it up and put kind of older cards back into the kind of rotation, so we get a good kind of cross-section of different maybe compositions, different techniques, and I don't know, different looks overall, color schemes and whatnot. So anyways, fun stuff, and as I've mentioned in the past, it's always kind of exciting to get that box from Vistaprint and to see what I have, much akin to the old photography days of film and seeing what you got back in print form. So anyway, thanks for watching and happy stamping.